I am on Patreon, and Patreon is a platform where I will upload interesting videos where you can learn astrology. Connect with me on Patreon, and we will grow. And I will give you much more deep insights on Vedic astrology, and lot more secrets will be shared there. Hello Seekers, welcome to Punneits Astrology, your one-stop astro channel. Now, observe that a lot of people are experiencing relationship or marital issues. One of the primary reasons was the impact of Venus and Ketu that happened in Virgo quite some time back. Also, Saturn is retrograding in the sign of Aquarius, which is the natural Kalpurush's 11th house. And this Saturn is impacting Scorpio zodiac sign, Aries zodiac sign. Both the Martian placements, Martian zodiac sign are impacted by Saturn from Aquarius. And therefore, a lot of people's Mars is getting impacted negatively. And therefore, there is aggression, there is lack of understanding, there is more and more knee-jerk reaction in society. And this is proving costly for relationships, especially if you are a young couple. Let's discuss what to see in your horoscope, where to look to understand the strength of relationship and marriage in your life, and if those areas are affected, then you will have to do certain remedies, consult an astrologer, and if that is positive, this means you might meet your soulmate in this life. Do not forget to subscribe the channel, share the video among family and friends, and don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you get notified. Also, you can join me on Instagram and Telegram for reels and other interesting stuff. And if you want to book my consultation, you can drop me an email. Let's begin the understanding of a unique house that is exactly not you but helps you. See, Vedic astrology divides life in 12 equal parts. Out of that 12 equal parts, there are 4 parts which are said to be the center point of your life. That is why the houses that represents those 4 parts are called Kendra Bhav, central houses. Means your life evolves and revolves around those areas. One such central house is the 7th house. Now, 7th house is something very, very unique. If you observe, 7th house is right in front of you. It is not you, but it is everything that you want to become. It is everything that is there for you to explore, and it is something that complements you, helps you, supports you. If you see its placement from the 4th house, it is 4 places away. That means if 4th house is your happiness, the source of happiness is the 7th house. For example, if you want to live a happy life, you would be in a happy environment. You will see that you will create and you will evolve. If you want to evolve in a positive way, you need to be in that positive setup. If you are in a negative setup, the 4th house gets impacted. That's the power of the 7th house. Also, the environment in which you grow sometimes decide your career decisions. It decides your position in society. That is because 7th house is 10th from 10th house. So you see how beautifully the 7th house is placed and how critical it is. The 7th house can also act as Markesh. The 7th house can also act as death to the 12th house, death to your losses. That is why if someone has a great business, his expenses will be taken care of. If someone is living a good married life, then the finances can be very well managed within the house. That's the beauty of the 7th house. If you see, it is the house which is 11th from the 9th house. It is called gain of destiny, gain of luck. Now, if your 7th house has positive planets, then definitely you will be blessed with good married life, good relationship, a harmonious environment. Do not restrict 7th house to just marriage, but it is an overall impact on life. But yes, There is one area which 7th house truly dominates, and that is marriage and relationship. And when you are looking for a life partner, naturally your first intention will be to see the status of the 7th house and the 7th lord. Now if your 7th house is Aries, that means naturally you will find an aggressive partner. You will find a partner that is highly motivated, and therefore you need to adjust accordingly. If Mars is afflicted, or if Mars is in a bad position, say Mars is with Rahu or Mars with Saturn or Ketu, then this can delay the marriage. This can create conflicts, unnecessary war, unnecessary fight, and this can create a lot of tensions in life. If you have 7th house as Scorpio, it is same as the Mars being the lord of Aries, but Scorpio means it is a little secretive. That means your life partner will not share everything with you. That means you need comfort and security, but then in order to achieve comfort and security, you need to restrict a lot of things in your life. You need to bring discipline. Also, you need to hide your success. You need to become successful behind the curtain. Not in a negative way, of course. And that is where the Martian energy of Scorpio comes into picture. A person with Scorpio in the 7th house and a positive Mars can reach great heights. But if the same Scorpio has Ketu or Rahu placed there, or if Mars is afflicted, if Saturn has a third aspect on your 7th house, this can create some serious challenges in finding a life partner, and this can also create divorce and sometimes some ugly court battles. Next, if your 7th house has Taurus as a zodiac sign, that means your 7th house has Venusian energy. It means your spouse will be very kind. That person will favor the art, the music. They will be very conservative in nature. And if 7th house Lord Venus gets afflicted, especially if Venus is with Ketu, then this can create heartbreaks, promises being made and not being fulfilled later on. See, Venus is about experience in this world, and that experience gets crushed if Venus is afflicted. What should you do? Try to figure out why you are being put in this situation. What is the karma or prarabdha coming from the previous life, and resolve that. If 7th house has Libra, that means naturally your life seeks balance, because your life is always on the edge of war. You are always onto something, and you want a partner who creates that balance. Now this can be positive as well as negative, because sometimes the partner who tries to balance you can be tamasic or negative in nature, and you will not be able to figure out the good and the bad. In that case, you need to focus on long-term approach in marriage. And if Venus is positive, you will see that you will be very successful, very happy, very balanced in life. But if Venus is negative, say if your Venus is with Ketu, Venus is with Saturn, this can create severe disturbance in your life, and this is where you will have to be careful while thinking about marriage or going into relationships. Because a 7th house getting bad means your 4th house, your 10th house, your ascendant, all are impacted, because they are somehow connected with this one house. Do not ignore this house. Now, if your 7th house has Gemini, naturally you are a Sagittarius ascendant, then this means that your spouse will have a lot of childish behavior. You will also have a kind of a mentor-student kind of relationship with your spouse. That means that you may find a very young person, a person that is always bubbly, happy, curious to learn. If you squeeze the learning ability of your spouse, then there will be divorce-like situation. You just need to let your spouse explore and also do something together, like learn a new language, do something positive. With Mercury becoming positive in your birth chart, this will ensure that you have a good married life. But if in your horoscope Mercury is bad, like in 6th, 8th or 12th house, then this can create a controversial marriage, a marriage that will always have some or the other verbal fight. There will be tonality difference, there will be attitude difference, and this can create hurdles and heartbreaks. Now, if your 7th house is Virgo, Now Virgo is all about being very practical. So all who are Pisces ascendant will always find a very practical marriage. Practical marriage can turn out to be a very cold, boring affair very quickly if your Venus is negative. But if you understand that this is very much necessary because you are very philosophical, you need someone who is very calculative. So allow the life partner to become very calculative in nature. If in your horoscope Mercury is in 7th house, or if Mercury is positive, if Mercury is aspected by Jupiter, then you will be blessed with someone who will handhold you and will guide you. But if your Mercury is negative, if your Mercury is with Ketu, then this can create multiple relationships, multiple marriages, and this can also create financial losses after marriage. Certain decisions that you will take will backfire, and this can create unnecessary war-like, verbal war-like situation in life. What should you do? Correct your communication skills, work on that, and try to resolve Mercury related problems in horoscope. Now if your 7th house has Sagittarius, you are a Gemini ascendant, and that therefore you are more focused on getting learning from the life partner. So your life partner, once you marry, will change the perspective of life and will take you to a very different plane, will give you a lot of knowledge, and will also strengthen your stand. You will see that the life partner can be very matured person, someone who is educated, who has a lot of degrees, who is knowledgeable, but can also be very orthodox, very arrogant, depending upon how your Jupiter is placed. If your Jupiter is good, it means the life partner, the circumstance, people around you will guide you. But if your Jupiter is bad, the same people will ditch you, betray you, and can create problems. And therefore, in your case, if you are having a bad Jupiter in your chart, then it is better to marry at a later age in life, not very early. And if you have Pisces in 7th house, this means your life partner will be emotional, philosophical in nature. Your cold-hearted and mathematical approach can hurt your life partner. So in that case, you be the one who is planning everything, executing everything, and allow the life partner to bring in that touch of beauty, that touch of philosophy, that touch of poetry, and the vastness, because you are limiting, but your life partner is expanding. This combination will help you travel positively, because if you limit yourself too much, you will have a lot of self-doubt. And this is the problem here with Virgo and Pisces 1-7 axis, that if your Pisces is in the 7th house, you can demean your life partner if your Virgo, if your Mercury is bad. If your Jupiter is bad, if your Venus is bad, then this can create a lot of problems in life. But if your Venus and Mercury are positive, or if your ascendant is not afflicted by negative planets, then you are lucky. But if they are, say, there is a Saturn and Mars conjunction on your ascendant, this can extremely create problems. This can create extreme problems in married life, and you need to resolve that. The best way to handle that is by chanting Vishnu Sahasranama. Now, if you have a Capricorn as the 7th house, that means you are very emotional, and your life partner can hold you, support you. It's like the two banks of the river. You may never be able to understand their way of life, their approach towards you, but you have to manage it somehow. You have to think that the Capricornian energy is very karmic in nature. That means you will focus more on resolving things by being rigid, practical, following a path of strategy, doing things and executing it, not just imagining, which is the part of Cancer ascendant, being very emotional and imaginative. Rather, Capricorn is exactly opposite. They are executionist, they are perfectionist, and they want things to be done in a perfect order, which is actually good for you. So if Saturn is positive, and if you're not born in a Sadesati, then the marriage will be boring, monotonous, but good for you. But if your Saturn is negative, you may find yourself being trapped and choked, and you will feel frustrated. Chanting Om Namah Shivaya and understanding the frequency of life partner will help you. And if you are finding Aquarius in the 7th house, then definitely this means that your marriage is completely a battle of ego, because your first house is Leo and your seventh house is Aquarius. And in that case, you are more into like a business kind of affair with your life partner. You want to do something together, you want to achieve something together. The same thing happens if Leo comes in the seventh house. That means you're an Aquarius ascendant, and therefore you want your life partner to succeed and you want to get along with your life partner. And in both cases, this becomes a kind of an alliance. But there has to be a purpose. So if you should follow a task together, you should do things together. If you go independent, then the marriage can break. Also, this can create a lot of ego war. So try to be humble. Try not to, pinpoint each other's negative aspects and areas. Rather, try to correct it by humbleness. Like, don't talk bad about your life partner in the public. If your Sun or Saturn is afflicted, then this can create humiliation in marriage. You can miscalculate the decision of marrying someone and then you can regret it later. And you won't be able to easily get away from that because of the grip of Saturn. Now, if you have Cancer as the seventh house, that means your life partner will be emotional. You will find that you want to execute something, but your life partner has a different attitude altogether. They want to play, they want to roam around. They are bringing colors, they are bringing flavor in your life. Obviously, if you're a man, it will be a little different. If you're a woman, it will be a little different. But in either of the case, if Cancer is in the seventh house, you need to understand that there can be a lot of mood swings in your life partner depending upon how the moon is placed, both in your chart and in your life partner's chart. If your moon gets afflicted, this can create a lot of disturbance and emotional hurdles in marriage. Maybe a lot of to and fro, a lot of yes and no. But if moon is positive, this can create a best and soothing environment in your house. Now, if you see that different combination of first and seventh house as a zodiac sign can create different output. You also have to apply the same rule. Now I'm going on a very advanced level, that you have to see the D9 chart, the Navamsha. That means, say for example, your seventh house is Leo, then you have to see the position of Sun both in the D1 chart and then in the D9 chart. And you have to do a comparative study. I will upload a D9 video sometime soon. But at least you will get an idea that how seventh house is playing such a role in shaping up your life. And that is why marriage is such a big affair in everyone's life. Because this can impact and trigger a lot of things in horoscope, especially things coming from the divisional charts. And you also have to understand the state of the seventh lord. If seventh lord's Ashtak work score is high, if seventh house is getting high Ashtak work score, then definitely you will live a good life, good married life. And therefore you will have a lot of positive support. Remember, if your seventh house is good, your married life is good, but that also means that your overall life experience is enhanced. But if your seventh house becomes weak, a lot of times it is seen that you are fighting a certain battle. Maybe you will adjust over a period of time, but you will have to face that challenge, because seventh house is anything that is not you. I hope this answers a lot of questions related to marriage. You can go and just look at your own chart. Don't go too deep into this because this is a very generic explanation. I've just tried to touch the topic. A lot of things have to be seen, whether you are in the Mahadasha, good Mahadasha or bad Mahadasha. If your Mahadasha is not supportive to your life, then this can create further problems. This can just add the layers on top of the main problem. So let's focus on the seventh house only. Let's focus on the seventh lord. And if your seventh house lord is Mars or Saturn, praying to Bhagwan Hanuman by chanting Hanuman Chalisa will resolve marital issues. If your seventh lord is Jupiter or Mercury, then praying to Bhagwan Narayan or chanting Vishnu Sahasranam will help you. If your seventh lord is Venus, then praying to Mata Mahalakshmi, chanting Shri Suktam will resolve your marital issues. If your seventh lord is Moon, then you have to chant Om Namah Shivaya, praying to Bhagwan Mahadev is also going to resolve the 7th house issues if your 7th house has Saturn or Moon's zodiacs. And if your 7th house is having negative planets, negative energy, or say negative planets are sitting in that house, a Ketu is sitting in the 7th house, Saturn is placed in the 7th house in a negative way, then you need to do certain karma that is coming from the 6th house, because then it is your prarabdha. In the next video, I will explain you what happens when the 6th, 8th and 12th Lord sits in the 7th house and how it can impact your relationship, marriage and your overall experience of life. Stay tuned. We'll meet in the next video.